Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. The show is about to begin.
There is one more thing.
This is Robots Tech Room starting in 3, 2, 1.
So yeah, hi, welcome. I'm Robot. We're going to be starting a podcast, or at least trying out a podcast, just to, try out some different things, give a feeling for the channel, see if it does well. If it doesn't do well, oh well. I've only got 25 views at this point. So we're just starting out, trying some things out. But I figured, I would do a podcast, and I wanted to focus the podcast on going through the computers that I actually own before digging into some ones that I'm at least looking at. But yeah, what better place to start than going over the specs of the computer that's here sitting next to me on this side. I guess that would be what, your guys' left side? My right side? Yeah, we'll call it that. But yeah, my right side. That would be the first computer that I bought. It is a MacBook Pro 15-inch mid 2012. It was the first Mac that I bought myself. I guess that's not technically true. I had an eMac, but we don't talk about that guy because he's not here anymore. He died. So, rip. Anyways, we'll do the podcast on the ones that I own, and at least the ones that I bought with my own money instead of just inherited from a college window, which it was thrown from. Okay, enough with the eMac. I'm sorry. It's just a tragic story, and I'm sad about it, okay? You can't blame me. But, yes, the MacBook Pro 15-inch. Little backstory on this machine is that it was my first time starting in college. I was not sure what I wanted to do. I just knew that college equaled MacBook. And I had been an Apple fanboy already for a good, got this in 2012, 8 years already. The iPod collection had already started. And, wow, I just spaced out. I'm just amazed that it was that long before I had my first Mac. But yeah, I had started the iPod collection already, and it was about time for me to go to college, and I knew that college meant that I probably needed a computer, and I pushed family members and loans and other things to get this, at the time, I thought was the most expensive computer ever. Cut forward to a couple years, and I was wrong. But at the time, $17.99, which this one was, it was the 2.3 gigahertz model. If you are watching the video version of this podcast, I do have the stats up on this computer here. I just noticed that it says obsolete, so I'm a little bit sad about that because damn, it's been that long and Apple's already killed support. Doesn't look very obsolete to me. It actually is just as fast as my other computers. But then again, I've also upgraded this unit, and we'll talk about those upgrades here in a little bit. But yes, back to when I got it, I was very excited first time in the Apple store. It was really kind of a boring experience because I was very busy that day. And it was a very small Apple store in my hometown. And yeah, got in there. Said I wanted one. Guy just ran from the back, and I had some cash. That was the first time I experienced Apple's pay with cash option, where the cash register literally comes out of the wood desk from underneath. But I digress. If you know, I wonder if they even do that anymore with Apple Pay. It's hard to say, but yeah, I didn't know anything about them at the time. I just knew that this was a lot of money, $17.99. That's a lot for a computer. And I think I even had the educational discount at the time. So mine was $1,500, and I'm still just holy crap, that's expensive. And then I had to buy Adobe on top of it because I decided to go to design college. And all I have from that is the degree on the wall and no job and nothing for it. But we're back in college anyways, and we're almost done with video. So hell, I probably got something out of it, but we'll see. Just not money. yeah, no money. Sad, really tragic. But enough about me. Let's talk about the computer. Oh man, yeah, discontinued October 2013. Here's the one thing that I was like kind of bummed about because, you know, when you're an Apple fan, you're always looking for the next release. When this computer was released, right at the same time, the next version, which was the Retina screen, the whole new redesign came out. But I did my research enough to know that this one would be upgradable. And what I mean by I did my research is I looked up a video and it said it was upgradable and the next one wouldn't be nearly as easy. So I was like, that's research. It's done. And, you know, it actually turned out pretty well in the end because, I still have the same processor in it. Can't really, I mean, you can change that, but I wasn't going to mess with that part. But I did upgrade it to getting 16 gigs of RAM, which it was a painfully slow 4 gigabytes of RAM that came in this MacBook Pro in 2012, which, I mean, at the industry's time, can we speak, robot? Huh? Yeah. At the time, 4 gigs was pretty industry standard. Heck, you can still buy machines today that come with 4 gig. Mind you, they're going to be the entry level, but I mean, it just didn't work. And that was the entry model. And it's graphics. Macs are graphic heavy. And I mean, again, I didn't know that at that time, but man, 4 gigs is not enough. So yeah, I upgraded that. And I mean, it was designed to do that. It actually had standard screws that you could take off the bottom and the whole lid came off. And so we upgraded the RAM, and then a couple years down the road from there, I did put in an SSD. I put in a terabyte, and man, that just changed my whole experience on that. It is one of the few that, yes, does have, this is a big deal. This is the last laptop that Apple made that had a super drive inside of it. We had the 8 times speed slot loading Apple Super Drive. And you know, it actually still served me well. I liked making mixed CDs as a kid, so heck, that still worked out pretty well. Let's look here. Multi-touch trackpad. It was the last time there was that smaller-ish trackpad. I don't remember if the model after that had it. I never owned that one. Crazy to think, MacBook Pro, this is the 9th version of it, and that's 9 versions after Intel entered into the fray after they moved away from the G series processors. If you don't know what that is, ask your parents. They won't know either. Or maybe they will, but they probably won't. It's just not well known. All right, yeah, let's take a look at some of the stuff that it came with. So yeah, software original OS, man, 10.74, aka Lion. It came with Lion. At least I think so. I think that was Lion. It does support up to 10.15.7, which is definitely Catalina, because that's what it's running right now. And no, it can't upgrade any more than that. But yeah, it handed everything that's still pretty standard. I mean, Catalina is a fairly new operating system, so it's not outdated by any means. And like I said, this one's still snappy. It's just not made for video editing anymore, and I still use it from time to time, but mostly it just collects dust on the shelf. So let's take a look. That is one thing that I forgot about. Maximum memory on Macs back when you could upgrade them. 8 gigabytes is what Apple said is the only thing it could handle when tested. 16 was the actual, and so of course I bumped it up to the actual amount of RAM that it could take. I don't know why they even say that. It's kind of dumb. But yeah, that's their only documentation is, oh yeah, it only goes up to 8, but it doesn't. It takes 16, so I needed that definitely when I was in the later end of my college years. It definitely saved my butt on some projects, especially when I got heavy into the effects and when I started switching over to video editing. This computer actually, fun story on that, caught fire in my lap while doing a render on Premiere Pro. And Apple called, or I called Apple, and then they called me back a couple times through. And long story short here, I talked to someone in Cupertino and it was replaced for free. And they told me not to talk to anybody about it, but here we are. Oh boy, what came with this? NVIDIA GeForce GT 650M. It's interesting because in my 2008 Mac Pro, I have the GTX 750, so similar graphics. We have the 512 of GDDR5. Boy, back when memory upgrades were only in the megabytes. I'm glad I didn't have to live through that time for a majority of it. I only was on the back end. That wonderful 720p FaceTime camera, which is actually still the same as my 2019 MacBook Pro, which you're looking at me on right now. So great job. They only just improved that on the most recent update in 2021. So that is stupid. I don't have any other opinion than that. Why does it take so long to upgrade a webcam? I have no idea. Does it matter though? I don't think so. Oh, dude, I didn't know. Yeah, that would make sense. I don't even know why I didn't think that, but yeah, of course, it's 802.11n. After you sell Wi-Fi for a couple years, you forget that some of your stuff might use some of the older things. And you know what? It's actually a better pickup radius. That's right. Yep. Look at the I/O here with me. We got two USB 2s up to 5 gigabits per second. One of the wonderful FireWire 800, which is 800 down, 800 megabits per second. I miss FireWire. I think that was one of the better cables. It also sticks in there like a rock, so it's not going to move. My laptop was the first to have a Thunderbolt port, Thunderbolt 1, same shape as the mini display port. Never really owned any accessories that could use Thunderbolt. I use it a lot more now as Thunderbolt 3, and now they're going up to Thunderbolt 4. So they're just updating it faster than you could even buy an accessory or that anyone is willing to make an accessory. But again, another thing I don't understand is accessories with this kind of stuff. Let's go ahead and see liquid sensor and sudden motion sensor. Did not know about those, actually. That is unknown to me. Up to 7 hours of wireless web. Yeah, That's not real. Nope, not even close. Let's take a look. What is good old Mac Tracker telling us about its history of this computer? Wow, that's a great source, Wikipedia. Love it. Super great, but you know what? Whatever. Yep, on June 11th, 2012, Apple showcased its upgraded Mac notebooks, OS X Mountain Lion, and iOS 6 at the Worldwide Developer Conference in San Francisco. The new MacBook Pro models were updated with Ivy Bridge processors and USB 3.0 ports and the default. Oh, yeah. When I was going over the I/O earlier, I forgot this one does have USB 3.0, and that was the main reason why I knew it would be like the best laptop, because it was upgradable and had some of the new I/O at the time and still had legacy I/O on it like FireWire, which was just weird. And yeah, I put this computer through hell. It's been the source of many, many videos, and it's really just kind of a look back memory piece at this point. It just sits here on the side of the desk or sometimes up in the collection. And yeah, and coming up here soon as we continue with the podcast, we're going to be looking at all kinds of things. I have every iMac minus the original the original shaped iMacs. I have iMacs starting from the G4, moving up through the G5, and then every year, or at least redesign up through there, and including even the newer M1 series. And yeah, if you guys want to hear about those, let me know, and we will keep expanding on this as we go. I would love to keep talking about the computers that we have, and yeah, I've been a Apple fanboy forever. So the way I wanted to end these podcasts too is to check out an accessory if it at least still works from like different time frames and heck, just kind of mess with it. And being that it was starting with a video podcast, I figured we'd play around with the iSight camera. It was debuted in June 2003, and you know what? First, before I do that, let's turn its video on so you guys can take a look at how wonderfully bad the content is from this camera. Yeah, that's my face and my double chin in a different arrangement. And look at that adjusting darkness and shutter and horrible refresh rate. But you know what? I'm going to stop dogging on it because I think the design is wicked cool. $149 for a webcam, which I guess back then is not a lot, but man, it just is kind of crazy when you think about back in 2003, which I remember 2003 still really well. This is the quality of video that you could get, and that was with like the best internet speeds that you could possibly find. So I don't know. It's pretty crazy how far we come if you think about it. But yes, this wonderful thing right here, which I'm messing with pretty bad, is 2003. But it looks hella cool, and it had a great mic on it. That's one thing that I've been always told. I'm not going to use that right now because I bought this microphone right here, and why would I change that? But yeah, this cool little gadget is powered by FireWire, which yet again is one of the accessories that I really like. I mean, it has throughput, and I don't think anything at the time, USB or not, would have had this ability to even work. So yeah, that's it right there. So system requirements, if you're able to see the video, was AV or iChat AV software. So back when iChat was actually AOL Messenger and it had a client for the Mac. So or AIM. God, I said AOL Instant Messenger. That's horrible. Anyways, yeah, it needed Mac OS X version 2.5, 600 megahertz G3 Macintosh computer or faster with a FireWire port. I'm going to have to try this thing out on the G4 because I have yet to do that. This is actually the first video that I've actually tried the camera and seen the quality, and damn, it's having a hard time. But then again, it's a really low light in here, so it's understandable, but it's struggling. It really does not like me right now. Let's see, resolutions is 640 by 480 VGA. Opticals is a 1/4 inch sensor. I mean, it's really not a bad camera, especially seriously though, when you think of the time, like that's not too bad. I'm pretty clear. It's just struggling with low light. So, you know, I give it a pass. Like I do. I give it a pass. It's powered from one cable going straight into FireWire, and this is probably the best part because yes, this is connected to a 2019 MacBook Pro, and hey, I guess you get the chance to see my setup here and what's going on. But this is my favorite part of this whole thing is holy hell Dongleville. Check this out. We got a Thunderbolt 3 USB-C style plug-in port down to a Thunderbolt 2 conversion cable. So Thunderbolt 2 to FireWire 800 down to FireWire 800 to FireWire 400, which this is what it takes and is required to use. That is a dongle train if I have ever seen one. And yeah, it's amazing. Hey, it still works. I plugged it in, instantly worked, even though it needed 10 million dongles. No setup. And that's what Apple's always been known for. So no setup equals instant use equals, hey, I don't need an instruction booklet. And, you know, that holds true as a philosophy to the iPhone today. And it's partly why I buy so much of their crap. Like, I got a lot of their crap, dude. But I don't want to read. And I don't know who else wants to read. So, yeah. Well, I'm going to stop rambling and you'll surely see enough of my stuff. If you did like this, go ahead, give me a shout out in some way. It's going to be posted on as many platforms as I can try and get started. It will also be posted on the channel page on YouTube. And yeah, we'll just keep going and we'll keep making content. I'd just like to know best if you even made it to the end. If you made it to the end, say, yeah, you know what? Tell me you're in it for the iPods in the comments if you've made it to the end, and I'll be sure to see that no one said that. But, you know, if you did, you get a gold star. And, yeah, you're required to tell me if it was worth it or not. All right, guys, I'm going to head out and keep coming back to the tech room.